What's up YouTube? Yo Jimbo here, and today we have a Diablo 4 video for the new players out there. That's right, if you're a new player and you are trying to play Diablo 4 and you just feel like you need some help, or maybe you've been playing the game since launch but there's some resources you feel like you could use in the game, we're going to cover 5 of them here today. That's right, we got 5 tools that you'll be able to use in Diablo 4. Hopefully getting used to these resources before the season launches, giving you the most power going into the season. That's right, because knowing is half the battle, and we're going to figure them out here today, guys. So let's take a look at number 1 right off the bat. All right, guys, the first tool that we have here is a website called Diabloarmory.io. You come over to this website and you're going to be prompted with 2 options, and that's going to be to search for an account or to log in with your Battle.net account. Now, if you're looking for somebody else's information, you can plug in their Battle.net ID. You see here, I have my Battle.net ID plugged into the bar, and it brings up the 3 current active characters that I have. If I were to log in with Battle.net, it would bring up my information also. Or if you want to find somebody else's information, you just plug in their Battle.net ID. Now, what this is useful for is seeing people's gear. It's not perfect. I'm going to give you that much information, but it is a work in progress, and it is currently one of the only ways to see people's gear outside of the game. So if you're familiar with with Path of Exile, they do have an Armory add-on for Twitch, and that way, if that add-on is turned on and you go to somebody's Twitch channel, you can see the gear that they are currently wearing from the add-on on Twitch. That doesn't currently exist here yet for Diablo. I do hope that it is made and implemented by somebody here soon, but currently this is the best way to do it. Not only does it show gear, but also it does show information. So you can see the playtime on this character I have is 7 days, 22 hours, 56 minutes. The last time I played, how many monsters I've killed, elites, gold collected, so on and so forth, and then have a look at the gear that we have on the character. Now, that's not the only reason that I have this as one of the tools on the for our new players. There's also a very important thing that this website does that no other website is currently doing that I'm aware of, or at least doing it well. And not even Blizzard is doing it well, as we know that we're not going to have leaderboards for a couple of seasons, 2 or 3. So here is our only real usable source of a leaderboard, and you can separate it down into different classes, hardcore or softcore. And then you can separate it by these different categories. So we have the number of elites killed, the average item power, their PvP kills, or the amount of time that they've been playing the game. So if you want to have some sort of a leaderboard, this is going to be the way that we're going to have it until Blizzard can implement their own leaderboard into the game, which hopefully won't be too long from now. They did say season 2, season 3. I'm kind of hoping that we might get it as a surprise in season 1. That's going to be my hope anyway, guys. This is going to be the most useful way of seeing people's gear and having a leaderboard. Let's take a look at our next option. Guys, number 2 is going to be a website called d4.life. And this is going to be a website that you have different tools for. The most useful one on here for me personally is going to be the tools for gambling your aspects and for your glyph XP calculator. So the one that I was using this for originally when I was trying to get specific aspects for my druid while leveling up. I wanted to get certain aspects set aside so that I could try out all of the different builds, whether it be pulverize, trample, slide, tornado, shred, bulwark, whatever the case may be. I wanted to have all of these legendary powers set aside so when I went to switch builds, I had them ready to go. So this made it really easy for me in this situation. So you can see here under gambling aspects, you can filter by class and even by the type of aspect you want. And you can search on the name or description of that aspect. So let's say if I put trample, you can see it brings up the trampled earth, shows me exactly what the name of it is. If I put in landslide, it's going to show me the landslide ones and where to get them from. It's available on gloves, amulet, one-handed weapons, two-handed rings, so on and so forth. Now, if we wanted to, for instance, have the probability on where to get one of these, say the aftershock is the one that I wanted the most, it would tell me that the most optimal item to gamble is going to be offhands for a druid. Now, a lot of times this is only a very, very small difference. You can see the offhand is a 0.07% chance, and a one-handed weapon is a 0.06% chance, and a glove being 0.06% chance. But all that little bit adds up. So giving yourself the best possible odds is going to be the best way to make sure you're getting all of these as fast as you possibly can. And you can do this for any class, for any of the aspects that are obtainable. The second thing that I use this website for is going to be the XP glyph calculator. So what you can do here is you can take your glyphs and you can take the current level of your glyphs. And this is if you're doing a little bit of preparation, pre-planning for leveling your glyphs in Nightmare Dungeons, and you're trying to be as efficient as you can. If you're just spamming Nightmare Dungeons, you might not even care about this kind of stuff. But if you're just trying to be efficient, you can take your current glyph level. Let's just say I have a level 5 glyph, and I'm consistently running Nightmare Sigil 50s here. It's going to tell me that if I want to get this sigil to level 21, it's going to take me 29 dungeons to do that from level 5 up to level 21. If I'm just trying to get to the level 15 mark to get the maximum range upgrade, it's going to take me 12 nightmare dungeons to level up from level 5 to level 15. So you can use this to plan exactly how many you're going to need to run. You can get your glyphs all set up, or I'm sorry, you can get your sigils all set up. You can say, okay, well, I need to farm up 12 sigils that are at least level 50, and you can have them ready to go. That little bit of efficiency makes a very big difference when you're trying to farm. If you're stopping in town, having to craft new sigils or whatever the case may be, that's just eating into your efficiency and taking out more time to get these things done. And while it may seem like a little bit here and there, once you start adding all of it up, it does make a pretty big difference in terms of time. If you're wondering how these content creators and such are able to get things done so efficiently, that's why. It's because they're planning these things out. They have a plan and going on in their head, and they stick to that plan, and usually not getting very distracted by these other things on the side. Anyways, that's number 2 for us. Let's take a look at number 3 now. All right, number 3 on the list. This is a website that is very popular throughout the entire gaming world, not just Diablo 4. So you've probably seen it before, and that's going to be mapgenie.io. What this website does is it gathers information on maps for almost every possible game that you can think of, especially these very popular games, and it's going to show you all of the information that it possibly can. So we do have Diablo 4 on the main list right here, but we'll use a search function just to show. If you just look for the game Diablo, you'll see we have maps for Diablo Immortal and for Diablo 4. If we click here on Diablo 4, excuse me, if we look here on Diablo 4, it's going to give us a number of different lists that we can check off. Now, of course, the most popular one we're probably going to be using this here for is going to be the Altars of Lilith. If you have not finished your Altars of Lilith, you do want to get this done before the new season starts. This progress will progress over into season 1. So you want to make sure that you have these done beforehand. This is going to give you the most amount of power going into the new season before it starts. So we can use this website for a ton of things. I think that this is the most useful one for the Altars of Lilith. I like the ability to zoom in on the maps and see exactly where the Lilith statues are. And I do believe if you click these Lilith statue buttons here, they will even show you, yep, they do. They show you a in-game picture of where to find it. A lot of these Lilith statues are hidden, back in the woods and stuff like that, and you might just miss it at a glance. So this is a very helpful way of getting that. And if you do log into the website, you can track your progress. I'm not logged in currently, so I can't, but you could check off each one of these that you have found, and that would have them disappearing from the map so that you can know exactly which ones you still need to go farm. Now, there's a lot of other things that you can use this website for. There's a list of aspects that you can go out and farm. This will show you where all the aspects are. It looks like currently right now it's showing everything on here. There's going to be your Helltide chest, your checklist for everything, unique items, so on and so forth. I do think the Altars of Lilith is going to be the most useful one here for most people. So that's why I like to keep this tool on deck in case I need it in the future. Next up on the list, we have a very important one. So let's check that out. It's one that we're going to be using all the time. And unfortunately, I was a little slow in getting to my recording here for this one because the map has disappeared as the Helltide has just ended. You can see a new one starts in 57 minutes. So I did miss this by a smidge while I was setting up the recording here. That is unfortunate, but just imagine there's a big map right here that shows you the exact area of all of the Helltide area and the chests and events that are going on. This website is called Helltidescom, and it is just continuously growing. When this website started, it was just Helltides, as you can tell by the name. Since then, they've added legions and world boss spawns, and now they do have alarm systems where you can set the volume of an alarm to go off when the thing is happening. That way, even if you don't have the event active on, or you don't have the website on your active screen, maybe you have it minimized or something, you can get these alerts when these things are happening, letting you know that, hey, you need to get out of that dungeon you're in because the next world boss is about to spawn. You can log into this website. I'm not going to be completely honest. I am going to be completely honest here. I don't know what difference logging in does. I've never logged into this website. They do have a Discord bot to give you some integration into your Discord channels. I feel like everybody has a Discord channel these days, including myself. Feel free to join. And this will help you stay as efficient as possible going into the new season. This is a tab that I almost never close on my web browser now. It is always useful, and I feel like we're always looking for more Helltides to farm, especially knowing that we can get those super uniques out of the Helltides now. Let's take a look at our next one. Hopefully this is something that'll be implemented in game, but until then, we're going to use this third-party website for it. Let's see. This one here we have is called D4builds.gg. D4builds.gg so far seems to be the best way to plan out a character going into the new season. Now, if you're coming from the Path of Exile world, this is nowhere even close to something like Path of Building, but it's the closest that we have for Diablo 4. So here you're going to be able to choose the character that it is you're going to be building. Let's say we choose a druid. We can go on and put any pieces of gear here that we know we're going to equip. Let's just say we'll have Aspect of Disobedience there. Let's just say we will have Insatiable Fury here, and Rampaging Werepiece there. You can see here that we can fill in our different pieces for the characters. Now, over here is where you're going to put in your weapons. All right. Do not get that confused with this down here where you see weapon, armor, and jewelry. This is where you're going to put your gems, right? So you put your gems in here, skulls and the jewelry for everybody. And you can even preset the abilities that you're going to be using. So we have Storm Strike, we have Tornado, right? Everybody knows what this build is here. Everybody's playing this build, and this is nothing new. Spirit boons, the whole deal. If you want to get really, really in-depth, you can even set the stats that you're going to have on each piece of gear, right? So we know that like most people on pants, they have 4 different types of damage reduction. So you can go through and you can do that here. You can put all the damage reduction on there, and you can really build off a checklist that you're going to have for all of your characters. Now, this might not be the most useful thing for the gears and skills for everybody, but the skill tree is something that is always useful. So you can go through and you can plan out your skill tree. You can, maybe take a look and see the way things will work out without having to waste your resources in game, your gold, to respec and see how things fit into the skill tree. And the same thing goes with the Paragon boards. So everybody knows it's a really big hassle to unspec your Paragon boards, as you have to do them 1 point at a time. And that is very, very annoying when you mess up the board. This will allow you to fully put together a board. You can rotate the boards in here. And you can set them up exactly as the way you're going to have them in game. That way, when the time comes, you're already going to have all of this pre-planned out, and you can just, copy them from here to there. Now, in Path of Exile and Path of Building, we have the ability to just import builds, export builds, so on and so forth. Now, they do have the ability to share them here, so you can generate a link and share this link with your friends. So if your friend sees you're playing a trample slide build and they want to have this whole thing put together, then you can do that. You can export the build and you can send it to them. Hopefully, we'll have an easy way in the future, maybe even with this website or something different, that we can just import our current build to the website and then generate a link to send that to other people. That is something that would be very, very useful. And one thing to remember is these websites are just growing and evolving at such a fast pace that I would not be surprised if we didn't see these things here in the very, very near future. We have everything here from our stats, Paragon boards, skill trees, and look, you can even showcase with a YouTube video. This is actually something that I don't believe was here. I don't remember seeing last time. So that just goes to show how fast these websites are growing. That's my 5 there, guys. And I do have a bonus one. This is not exactly a tool like the other ones are, but something that I do think would be very helpful for new players. So let's look at that one last thing. The one last bonus thing that I have here, I know I said it was 5. This is number 6. This isn't exactly tool as much as it is a little bit of a write-up for new players. There's a lot of things that are not explained in the game. And if you don't have this outside information, you're just going in kind of wading through the crap blindly. What this website is going to do, this is maxroll.gg. It's a very popular website, has been for a very long time with all ARPGs. They generally post builds that are, you know, they have tier lists, and they have top tier builds and leveling builds and so on and so forth. A lot of people think that their builds are a little bit bare bones per se. They try to push out a lot of content, a lot of different builds, a lot of different classes and everything. But overall, they can give you a pretty good idea on how your character is supposed to work. But I'm not here for that. What I'm here for is this stats for beginners page specifically that I found. And what that does is it shows you a very good list of all of these different stats in the game, split up by characters and whatnot, and how they interact with every different class and every different skill point. So we can see here that the druids, for example, start out with 10 willpower, 8 intelligence, 7 strength, 7 dex, so on and so forth. They tell you what you get every time that you level up, along with your altars of Lilith. And then the core stat bonuses give the following bonus. So for willpower, you're getting healing received and overpower damage per point. Dexterity, you're getting dodge chance per point, so on and so forth. And then for your specific class, you are getting other things such as crit chance per dexterity, resource gen per intelligence, and skill damage per willpower. This can be very helpful to know what type of attribute points you should be scaling on your builds based on the things that you need. And then also it's going to go through and break down the offensive stats that you can have on your character, defensive, utility, lucky hit chance, and how it works. And they even provide examples and the math equations and the whole thing. You're never going to find this information in the game. So this is a very good spot to be able to just come here as a resource. You can control F, search lucky hit. It'll bring you up to exactly the lucky hit thing. You can read through on how it works and, get it summarized and stuff like that. It also tells you some things that you also will never know in game, as they don't tell you, such as this movement speed. Your movement speed cannot exceed 200%. There are caps for movement speed, attack speed, etc., etc. And you could just keep stacking and stacking and stacking in the game. Let's say in game you could stack up to 500 movement speed. It's never going to tell you that you're capped at 200, even though you have 500, and it's just going to let you keep stacking, without giving you any kind of a warning there. So that's why these things are very important, and it's very very useful to have this information, guys. So that's my 6. That's my 6 things, guys. Get used to these going into season 1. It'll be very helpful for getting you with the correct information that you're going to need for your new season. And hey, I'll even give you another little bonus one. Find your favorite Twitch streamer and ask them the questions if you can't find the answers. Most Twitch streamers are going to be, or content creators in general, YouTube, Twitch, whatever the case may be, are going to be pretty well informed. And if they don't know the answer, most of the good ones will help you find the answer for you, where to find that answer. That's my tip to you guys. Come follow us over on Twitch. like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more D4 content coming from us, and we'll catch you all later. Adios, muchachos.